Should the Spurs foul? Should Miami go for the three right away?
Just attack the basket.
James catches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
One and only sports talk show. Breaking down college football's biggest games, latest news, and greatest moments. Are you ready? Because it starts right now.
And hello, everyone, and welcome in to the Game Managers Podcast. I am Nick Norris. With me, my co-host, Patrick Hannah. How you doing today?
Doing good, buddy. How you doing?
I am doing great, and joining us again, and happy to have her here, Maddie. How are you today?
Good.
Good. Did you have a good day at school? Mm-hmm. All right, good deal. We're going to talk to Maddie when we get to Maddie's Minute, and we'll ask her thoughts, of course, about the SEC Championship, as well as everything else we'll be talking about today. It is Conference Championship weekend, Patrick.
Yes, it is.
And I am excited. I actually don't have to work tomorrow, so I'm going to be sitting in front of my TV as soon as kickoff happens at 11, watching all those games, and hope you're able to as well. You've got a busy week coming up, though. We're going to talk about it and wrestling over at Jasper High School. A lot of exciting things happening over the next couple weeks, and we're going to talk all about the SEC Championship, Conference Championships, all the coaching carousel, which is crazy. So many different hires and firings and switcheroos this week. We'll talk about all those, as well as some NFL news going on and some other sporting news here on the Game Managers Podcast. If you have nothing to do tonight, though, after our show, you should definitely go down to Tallulah and check out Jonathan Timmons, who is the owner of WJLX. His band Smashly is having their 15th annual, celebrating 15 years of providing Walker County with music. They're going to be there. They should start playing around 8 tonight. They have the Wet Paper Towel Band opening for them. That should be starting any minute now. So if you want to go get some live music tonight, maybe a bite to eat, check out Tallulah's downtown and tell Timmons that we sent you over there.
That's an awesome band name, Wet Paper Towel.
Isn't it?
That is like so rock and roll right there.
And Wet, W-H-E-T.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic band name there. So check them out. I've actually heard good things about them as well. So I'll probably, I may scoot over there after we get done recording. But, Patrick, we're going to talk about all the coaching carousel of this week. Of course, the king of it all is Lane Kiffin going from Ole Miss, a playoff contending team, to LSU. And this sounds like old news at this point, but this happened since our last episode. We're not going to go too deep into the weeds here, but just your take. Do you think that's a good hire? And how did you feel about him leaving prior to the playoffs?
That was an ugly separation.
Yeah.
I get it. If I feel that you could get a national championship more at LSU than Ole Miss, but what he's been able to do at Ole Miss has been remarkable, and how to be able to sustain and get people to come there, gets them in a playoff contention. And if you were really the guy that they were looking for, they would have held out until after the playoffs. You know, I just hate it that he's not able to coach the playoff, but I get it from Ole Miss's standpoint. You know, you're just going to be more of a distraction in marketing and stuff to be able to get players from Ole Miss to your rival. That's the thing they got to understand, is that's the rival that he's going to. But they're letting a lot of the assistant coaches stay on. I mean, they have to if they want to be in it and stuff, but I know that they've also, and we'll talk about it later, they promoted from within to try to keep some stability in that regards. But I think it's a move. If I was in his shoes, if I felt that I've reached the ceiling at Ole Miss, and if I want to challenge myself to be able to get that championship, then I'm going to take this move.
Yeah. No, I don't fault him at all for taking the job. He's got 94 million reasons to take it. It was brutal, and it was an ugly divorce. And I think it got very personal
Oh, it did.
And
yeah.
I think that led to them basically saying, "Get out of here."
Yeah.
I think that he knew from the start he was going, and I think if he would have just been like, "Yeah, I'm going, but I want to finish out this year, respectfully, if he'll have me," and he came with that approach, he's probably still coaching there right now until the end of the year. But I think dragging this out, having to be the center of attention as he likes to be, at least this is my perspective of it. If you disagree, totally fair. But I think that it made it very personal, and it made it very difficult for the school to react in any other way than also taking it personally. And they probably overreacted as well, and hopefully they don't pay too much for it in the playoffs and in the rankings coming up, which we're also going to talk about our ranking predictions, where we think everybody's going to end up. Talk about all that and more. But Ole Miss, as you said, promotes Pete Golding, and back at LSU, there are some rumors that Ed Orgeron could be making a return there as an assistant, or even as the next head coach of Tulane. Although reports are saying that LSU defense coordinator Blake Baker is more likely to be the Green Wave's next guy. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. That's one of the several jobs that are still hiring a head coaching position right now. One that is not, though, is Auburn. They hired their guy, Alex Golesh, USF head coach there for the last 3 seasons, considered a very good hire. I have to admit, I'm not incredibly familiar with him the same way I wasn't really that familiar with DeBoer when he was hired.
Yeah.
But it looks like all around very positive things, a lot of excitement around this hire. If I had a criticism, it would be that it doesn't seem like they're allowing him to really pick his own staff, and that's
that's kind of the thing that's if you're going to hire a guy to run your program, why are you going to basically say, okay, you're my guy, but you got to keep this guy, you got to keep that guy, or you got to go get this guy? That to me is a deal breaker.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm wondering if that's why some of the other choices that Auburn had in mind, they backed out.
Yeah.
It's because they wanted control. And Golesh, from everything I've read and looked up, without a doubt, a very good offensive coach. And he's built South Florida into a great program. But one thing I'm kind of concerned about is I don't want a repeat of what happened with Harsin. Harsin was a great coach and built up a program. But the difference between Golesh and Harsin is Golesh had some experience as a coordinator in the SEC. And so I'm hoping that kind of helps smooth some things over. DJ Durkin staying as defensive coordinator is a big move. They're trying to piece it saying, oh, they've known each other for 20 years. But I'm sitting here thinking, if I hire you, you got to keep him. And if you don't keep him, then I'm not hiring you and I'm going to hire him.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about when Freeze was hired, a lot of people wanted Cadillac.
That's
and
right.
they kept him, and it only lasted 1 year, and Cadillac went his separate ways. And then everything just...
I wouldn't be surprised if by January Durkin has another job anyway.
I'm kind of wondering the same thing because, I mean, what he did, he didn't get the W, but he brought life back into that program.
Yeah.
And with how as we get to it, these carousels are happening, if I'm one of these other group of coaches, I'm calling him.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, we're about to have a lot of places just open up defense coordinator because LSU is now going to be looking for a defense coordinator as well. So, I mean, I think there's a good chance that if, and maybe these guys wanted to work together. We don't know. Maybe he said, I'm only coming there if DJ Durkin's there. I don't know. We don't know that. But there's going to be opportunities. If Durkin wants out, he'll be able to get out. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. That's a concern to me, but it's not a deal breaker. I still think very good hire, all things considered. Florida has hired John Summerall as their guy, Tulane's head coach for the last 2 seasons, and I'm going to run through these as well. Some of this is old news, and we're a little short on time. But James Madison, coach Bob Chesney, has been named the head coach of UCLA, and Billy Napier has taken that job at James Madison. So we've got the Florida, James Madison, UCLA switcheroo there, all 3 switching coaches. Outside of that trio there, we got Arkansas. They hired Ryan Silverfield. He was the head coach at Memphis since 2020. And Will Stein is going to Kentucky. He was the Oregon offensive coordinator under Dan Lanning since 2022. A couple other jobs. We've got Neil Brown as the new head coach of North Texas. And Toshi, and boy, I hope I say this correctly, Toshi Lupshi
That's correct.
as the new head coach of Cal. So pretty a lot of moves, a lot of moving parts, a lot of names that you may not be familiar with that I cannot say that I am familiar with all of them.
Yeah, Oregon's having to hire 2 new coordinators.
Yeah, oh wow, yeah. So that's going to be interesting for Dan Lanning, see how he responds. And obviously, some coaches do it pretty easily, like Nick Saban, and some coaches, like Dabo Swinney, have struggled.
Yeah.
So we will see. Penn State is allegedly finalizing a deal to hire Iowa State's Matt Campbell. We'll keep an eye on that. That could actually change while we are recording, because that was very close to being done, allegedly.
And I'm excited about that one. I think that's a good hire.
Yeah, I think so too. That one is expected to get done today, last I read. So it may be done right now. We need to check and see. And then UAB has removed the interim tag off of Alex Mortensen, who they initially were not considering, and swung back around to him. And of course, he finished the year 2-4, 1-4 in the American Conference. But I can't say that was his team by any means. He was just picking up the pieces of what was left at that point. So,
kind of disappointed. I thought we were going to get a second interview, man.
yeah, if anybody doesn't know, that job was posted on LinkedIn. You could apply. Anybody could apply. It would tell you that you might not meet the qualifications, but it did not stop you from putting in a resume application. So, pretty crazy stuff. Moving on to the NFL. This is also a few days old news at this point, but Mike Tomlin, which I'm a big Steelers fan, so that probably had me put this in here, but Mike Tomlin may be in the next coaching carousel of the NFL. I don't think he'll be fired by any means, but Steelers fans at the last game were chanting for him to be. I don't know. I could see maybe a mutual split at some point, but
if it does, he will be unemployed for less than 24 hours.
Oh yeah, he'll be hired immediately somewhere, and I would want him to be. And if we did lose Mike, I think I'm a big Mike Tomlin fan, but if we lost him, I want him to be successful wherever he ended up, and I know he would be. But yeah, that's just so crazy because I mean it's I get it, and I'm also tired of getting bounced in the first round of the playoffs every year, but. I don't know. You got to be careful what you ask for. I don't know who they're going to put in there, Yeah,
that's the thing. If you don't, because you got to think, you got to have a pretty daggum good name to come in and replace him.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're setting your franchise back.
Well, the argument is, look at the Eagles and the Chiefs. The Eagles split with Andy Reid. Andy Reid went on to be successful. Eagles have went on to be successful. But what are the odds that happens again?
Yeah, exactly.
They both end up being successful immediately. I don't know. That seems unlikely for Lightning to strike twice there. Some NFL teams that have been eliminated from the playoffs thus far. We've got the Titans, the Raiders, the Giants, Saints, Cardinals, and after losing the Lions last night, the Cowboys are dangerously close. They're going to need a lot of help to be able to get into the playoffs. Just wanted to mention that quickly while we're in the news. I'll keep updating that every week on which teams are eliminated. Expect to see probably a couple more eliminated this weekend. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then last night, Patrick, I'm not a big basketball guy. I didn't see this live, but I did see a lot of the highlights. LeBron's 18-year double-digit scoring game streak came to an end last night in the game against Toronto. 1,297 games, nearly 19 years older than the iPhone that streak was. It's just crazy. He finished the night with 8 points. He actually had a chance to shoot the last shot of the game. He ended up passing it away, and was asked about how he felt about losing the streak afterward, and he's like, I don't care.
He probably didn't know he had a streak going.
It's like we won the game. That's all I care about.
I think age is catching up with him.
Oh yeah.
In that regards, I know he wants to be able to do a full season with his son in the NBA, but yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean I think he'll finish out the year if he can stay healthy, and then that's it. Yeah, I don't know. He seems like the kind of guy that would want the full retirement year, kind of the way Kobe did, but maybe not.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on if the Lakers would agree to it.
Oh, they would agree to anything he said.
I mean,
yeah.
I would say either that or if he would. The only other place I can see him do it is Cleveland.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Go back a third time.
Yeah, third time the charm.
And a little bit more basketball news. Actually, last bit of news, and then we will take a break here. Tomorrow, 7-2 Auburn. They are going to travel to 7-2 Arizona Wildcats for a basketball game. And on Sunday, 6-2 Alabama will host 4-4 UTSA there at Coleman Coliseum. So I haven't kept up with a whole lot of basketball, but it seems like both our teams are doing pretty swell so far. We'll definitely keep a closer eye on that at the wrap-up of
Yeah,
football season.
Auburn's been, they had that scare there where they had that blowout and people were trying to get a little too jumping the gun on Steven. And they really kind of came into their own in this aspect. They're playing a lot more energy, a lot more physical, and this right here, this is a Final Four type matchup. Arizona's always a Final Four type team, and they're back on kind of a rise. And this will really, I think, kind of shape up what Auburn's season's going to be like. Bama, I caught a little bit of their last game, and that game, they kind of got back to their fast break style of play. They kind of were trying to go half-court set for some reason. I don't know if they just didn't think they could keep up with the tempo of some of the teams they were playing. But when they got back playing their own and then kind of popping threes on the fast breaks, they really kind of got things kind of dialed in. But both of them, we could see a conference Iron Bowl championship.
That'd be something, yeah. I would love that, and I'm sure we could hit up one of our sponsors to maybe watch it after.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to take a break. When we come back, though, we're going to talk about that SEC football championship that we got this weekend. We're also going to talk to Maddie for her Maddie's Minute. She's got a good one today. And later in the show, we'll talk about our playoff rankings, some Jasper High School wrestling, some weird news of the week. All that is coming up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
Beautiful Arab in Jasper, Alabama. Bring it.
Goes! Rebound Bosch! Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining. Spurs do not have a timeout.
The 3 points. Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli. Aguero! I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again. So watch it.
Play clock at 5. Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler. Unreal.
Time remaining. Should the Spurs foul? Should Miami go for the three right away?
Just attack the basket.
James catches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound Bosch. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining. Spurs do not have a timeout.
The 3 points. Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli. Aguero! I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again. So watch it.
Play clock at 5. Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler.
You're listening to The Game Managers on WJLX 101.5.
And welcome back to the Game Managers right here on WJLX 101.5. I'm Nick Norris, with me Patrick Hannah and Maddie. And we are about to talk about what everybody is wanting to hear about, the SEC Championship between the Crimson Tide and the Georgia Bulldogs. That one is coming tomorrow. You can listen to it actually on WJLX 101.5, and it's also going to be airing, of course, on ABC. Kickoff is at 3 p.m., and Georgia is actually a 2.5-point favorite there in Atlanta. Expect to see a lot of Georgia fans there. There are every time they are in the SEC Championship. Now, I don't know how you feel about this, and we'll talk more about this after the next break, Patrick, but I don't think either of these teams are left out of the playoffs unless it is an absolute beatdown of Alabama. I think even if Alabama beats Georgia, I don't know. I don't think either of them's getting left out.
Yeah, the only way I see Alabama missing out is if they just totally get blown out of the water.
Yeah.
But I will say in Georgia Tech game and then Alabama-Auburn, there was a lot of things that were exposed in that game. I know for Alabama, Auburn brought a lot of pressure on Bama's quarterback, and he wasn't able to really go through his checkdowns in that aspect. And then they kind of shut the run game down. Georgia Tech was another exposure of some inconsistencies on offense. So it's really going to be the tell of whose defense can lock in first. In my opinion, it's going to be the takeaway from this. You know, if somebody's able to kind of find a crack in one of their defenses, then that's going to be game over.
Now, as an Auburn fan, do you have any actual interest in watching this game again, since we had it just a few weeks ago?
I do, just for the playoff aspect.
Yeah.
Because I really want to see where Bama ends up if they do make the playoffs.
So right now, Alabama is ranked number 9. Georgia is all the way up to number 3. Of course, Alabama does have the head-to-head over Georgia. I am an Alabama fan, so I was happy that we made it to the SEC championship, but I'm not happy we're playing Georgia again. I do not feel good about it. I don't bet money on sports, but I wouldn't be betting any money necessarily on Alabama. I'm not saying they're not going to win it. I'm just saying it's hard to beat a good team twice.
It is. I will tell you that I feel that Vandy's probably rooting for Georgia to win because they're one of the teams on the outside looking in.
Oh, yeah.
And there was that crazy story. I mean, it could probably go under one of the crazy news that they were trying to book a extra game.
Yes.
To try to help in that aspect.
Yes. They were wanting to schedule one of the other borderline teams.
Yeah, and I think they almost had something locked in with Miami.
Wow.
To be able to play, but I think it kind of got no.
I'm sure the SEC shut that down immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is crazy, and we'll probably see more teams eventually try to do that, as they're left out. I'm going to be honest, as someone who was a fan of the BCS but recognized that it had its issues, and as someone who was quite a big fan of the 14 playoff despite thinking I would not be, I don't like the 12-team playoff, and I cannot make myself care about which 2-loss team gets left out to compete for a national championship. Even if it's Alabama, I can't make myself care. Well, we've had 1 2-loss national championship in my lifetime from memory, and that was LSU.
Yeah.
Back in the late 2000s, 2007 season.
Yeah, I want to say I think it was it Les's first national?
It was Les's, yes. Yeah. And that just happened because that was a chaotic season. Everybody
was losing, yeah.
I don't care when there's teams that are undefeated, 2 clear undefeated teams and some 1-loss teams. I don't care which 2-loss team gets left out. It doesn't matter to me.
I mean, the thing I like about the system is it gets all your conference championships into the tournament, which it should. You should take the best of each conference to be able to have a say in that national champion. Because the thing that I always tell people is back in the early part of the millennium here, Boise State and TCU, they were constantly called the Cinderellas that would make it to the BCS bowl games. And they said, well, if they had this format, could they have possibly won a couple of national championships? And even back when South Florida had just started their program, they had that 1 year. I forgot who their coach was. I think it was Jim Leavitt. And they got all the way up to ranked number 2. And then their last couple games, they lost, but they were close losses. But since they were not part of the big conference, it brought them from number 2 out of the top 25 in 1 week.
Yeah.
And so that's why I kind of like this aspect. It kind of reminds me of a basketball March Madness aspect.
Is.
And I've always been a fan of that aspect.
Yeah, and I understand, and I can recognize, respect that. if we're gonna have it regardless.
Oh yeah,
We might as well, make the best of it and enjoy it. I think that I was so afraid about what it does to the regular season, and I feel like we're already seeing that. And now, whenever we argue, would this 2-loss team gets left out, this 3-loss team gets left out, we're just going to keep expanding.
Yeah, you're going to keep expanding, but then you also got to look what Alabama did here recently. They changed their non-conference opponent.
Yeah.
And all.
And now Texas is starting to do the same.
Yeah, but my opinion in this aspect, Bama, if anything, they made their schedule look a little bit more friendlier.
Yeah.
Than being competitive.
Yes.
And if I'm somebody that's like right now, you're sitting on the borderline. If you lose this game, you may not make the playoff. And if it comes down to the strength of schedule, you're hurting yourself there because they're going to look at those quality wins and those opponents that you had. Now, I don't know much about Chattanooga. They might be a powerhouse in their area, but I would have kept that. I think it was South Florida or somebody I think they had in there. And just because Golish is gone, they're like, oh, well, it's almost like you're scared of Golish. And as an Auburn fan, they're like, you going to take the Iron Bowl out next? I mean, come on.
Right, yeah. Well, that's the fear for Ole Miss, and we'll get into more in a bit, that losing Lane Kiffin may affect their ranking the way that affect FSU last year losing their quarterback. I don't think it'll affect them enough to knock them out of the playoffs, but I could see them dropping because of it.
I could see them losing that home field that they have for it because right now, if the rankings were official as of this week, they have a home playoff.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the specifics of this game, though. If I had to ask you what is one advantage that Georgia has over Alabama in this rematch, not including kind of the motivation factor, what would you say that would be?
I would probably say more of a run game.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say just any sort of run attack that Alabama's kind of missing, and we got word today that Jam Miller is not expected to be in this game as well, so that's another.
And that's hurts right there.
Yeah, so some more depth in Alabama in the backfield that they are going to be missing. The ESPN playoff predictor still gives Alabama a 51.1% chance to win. Now, none of that information is really clear about what goes into that.
Yeah, I've never understood what goes into some of those things.
But if Georgia gets to running the ball well, I don't like Alabama's chances at all. If Georgia is able to control that clock, I mean, Alabama's going to have to answer fast, and they're going to have to answer through the air because they just haven't had a very consistent run attack, and you can't play Georgia one-dimensional. Now, they didn't when they played. They had a pretty balanced attack, in my opinion. Are they going to be able to repeat that? I don't. It's just so hard to beat a team twice.
I don't think they can. I literally think that both coordinators are going to have to reinvent their playbook. And Mike Bobo's not very good at doing that.
Which we saw some trick plays from Alabama in that game already, first time around. I expect them to reach into that bag a little more probably this time, try to get Georgia on their toes early, maybe try to pull something a little wacky like they did in the first game. Right now, Patrick, because we do got to keep it moving, who are you picking in this game? And what would you see the final score maybe being?
I say it will be a low-scoring game, and I'm going Georgia 20-17.
20-17, Georgia. Oh man, being a homer, I want to pick Alabama, but I don't believe it.
I mean, and I'm not saying it because I'm an Auburn fan, and people probably listening are probably saying I'm lying, but it's really hard to do it. I mean, I want to say when Bama had to play LSU, I think they played them 3 times. I think they ended up playing them during the season, SEC championship, and then again in the national championship.
2011?
Yeah, I think it was 2011.
It was just the twice.
Oh, it's twice?
Yeah, Alabama didn't make it to the SEC championship game. They're both in the West.
Yeah, that's right. So playing them twice, I think LSU won in the regular season, and then Bama won in the national championship.
Yeah, I remember it well. It was 9-6 was the final score of the first game.
Yes.
Only field goals scored. Alabama missed 2 of them.
And
then in the championship game, LSU did not cross the 50-yard line until the end of the third quarter.
Yeah,
it was a complete just domination.
And I'll never forget Les Miles' famous quote: "I would be honored to play this team again," and all. And then they asked him afterwards and if he still stood by that statement. He's like, yeah, I want to play the best.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm going to pick Alabama, but I don't feel great about it. But I will, just to be a little different. But I'm going to say also not a very high scoring game. I'll say 24-21.
Maddie, who do you got? Bama or Georgia?
Who you got?
Georgia.
The Bulldogs. All right, 2 versus 1. So we'll see. But I don't like picking against Maddie. I feel like she knows something I don't. So, well, Maddie, this is a great transition because it is time that we go to Maddie's Minute before we go to another break and then talk some playoff picture stuff. Now, Maddie, last week we came on here and you had a very good review of Wicked. I really enjoyed it. I thought you were a great movie reviewer. So this time you thought you would stick with that and maybe review a TV show and its legacy sequel as well. What show are we talking about today?
Wizards Beyond Waverly Place and Wizards of Waverly Place.
Okay, so Wizards of Waverly Place, the original Disney Channel show that I'm sure a lot of people our age, I guess, now, and some parents of people our age are probably very familiar with. And now, kids your age watching Wizards Beyond. No, tell me again.
Wizards Beyond Waverly Place.
Wizards Beyond Waverly Place, the legacy sequel, which I know Selena Gomez came back for a few episodes. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about. Is this your favorite show? Up there, at least.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about it.
So, all the Russo kids are adults now,
Okay.
and there's 3 kids in Wizards Beyond Waverly Place. There's Milo, Roman, and Billy.
So are they the kids of any of the original characters? Or are they, who are they? Who are the kids?
Yeah, who are their parents?
Oh, it's Gianna and Justin.
Okay.
And so they have all 3 of the kids or just 2 of them?
They're keeping Billy, and they're keeping Billy for a while, but Roman and Milo are like the original kids.
Okay.
Okay, I'm following along. All right.
So my favorite character from the original one is Alex.
Okay.
And
Now, is that's Selena Gomez?
Mhm.
Okay.
And then from Beyond, I kind of like Milo and Billy.
Milo and Billy. Now, what is it about Milo and Billy that you like?
Billy, I don't know. Like, the reason why I like her is because she's kind of like Alex from the original.
Okay.
And I just like Milo because he's funny.
He's funny. Okay.
What's your favorite character from
Oh,
Beyond?
now, I have only seen the original show.
So
So
what's your
I'm,
favorite character from the original?
from what I've seen, I thought Alex was great. Selena Gomez. She's a great character. And I have seen some clips of the new show where she's came back, and it seems like they've done a good job of kind of evolving her into an adult role, but keeping sort of the fun whimsy of her character. I thought they did a really good job with that. And Selena Gomez is very talented as well, so she did great.
She's one of those rare people that can basically do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, act, sing, the whole 9 yards,
And really came back out of the goodness of her heart because she's a billionaire.
she doesn't need it. Yeah, because I mean, I think she's got like her own like clothing line or something like that, or and
She
things.
has Oreos. Remember?
Oh yeah, she's got her own Oreos.
She does have the Oreos.
See, look, she's got Oreos. Why work? You can eat cookies all day. You know, I would say my favorite from the original was probably Max, because Max was
Okay.
like the goofy kid that just did things random.
Now, would you say that's sort of Milo in the new series?
I would say that's probably
Okay.
Milo in the new series.
What's your favorite from the Beyond?
From the Beyond, I kind of like Billy because I kind of like that rebellish act that she's kind of got going on, but then she starts to really see how powerful of a wizard she really is, and she starts taking more responsibility in that aspect. She kind of sees, kind of reminds me of like a Star Wars type thing.
Okay, yeah, sure. Now, Maddie, last week you kind of broke down what was special about Wicked, and you told us the lesson of the story and how it's important to treat people differently than you kindly and to stand up for the little guy. What are some of the lessons you would say that would be good for kids to take away from Wizards that you've watched?
Probably I kind of like when Billy first came, how Rome was kind of like annoying kind of thing, and then how whenever it got deep into the episodes, he kind of liked her, you don't know what's like a part of them, so you may like them and stuff. That's kind of what it taught me.
Okay, well, very good. Well, you have some very good reading comprehension, I have to say, for your age. Very cool. Well, I am going to have to watch an episode of Beyond and get back to you on my review of it as well. But is there any note that you haven't got to yet on your paper?
Nope.
Okay. Well, out of 5 stars, what do you give Wizards Beyond?
5.
5 out of 5. That is a golden score there for Wizards Beyond Waverly Place. Well, if you like that show or have kids that like it, Maddie's right there with you. She definitely recommends it. And what do you know, Maddie, what we're going to be talking about next week in Maddie's Minutes? Or do you got to think about it?
I'm going to be rating the top 5 kids' Christmas movies.
Top 5 kids' Christmas movies. That is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I already got my movies done.
Okay.
She's already got it done.
Well, she is working overtime. Well, I'm excited for that. I'll be thinking of my top 5 in the meantime.
And you too,
as
Daddy.
well.
Got you.
That's
Gotcha.
right. Okay. Well, thank you, Maddie. Wonderful as always. And don't worry, we're going to keep asking you some football questions too.
That's right.
As we go along. But first, we do have to take another 2-minute break. When we come back, we're going to look at that playoff picture. Also at some of the other championship games going on, including one that's going on right now.
That's right.
We'll talk about that all when we come back right here. Don't go anywhere on WJLX 101.5.
Hello, folks. This is Greg Hansen with North Country Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and beautiful and Jasper, Alabama. Bringing you the biggest competition between the Chrysler stores.
I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again. So watch it.
Play clock at 5. Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler. Unreal.
Is it for your show?
Should the Spurs foul? Should Miami go for the 3 right away? Just attack the basket. James catches, puts up a 3. Won't go. Rebound Bosch. Back out to Allen. His 3-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining. Spurs do not have a timeout.
It's the 3 points. Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli. Aguero.
Clock at 5. Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler. Unreal.
Should the Spurs foul? Should Miami go for the 3 right away? Just attack the basket. James catches, puts up a 3. Won't go. Rebound Bosch. Back out to Allen. His 3-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
You're listening to The Game Managers on WJLX 101.5.
And thank you for sticking with us here on The Game Managers here on WJLX 101.5. We just talked about the SEC Championship, and we'll talk about some of those playoff repercussions for both scenarios, whoever wins here in a moment. But really quickly, we wanted to look at some of the other conference championship games going on, including one that's happening right now. Troy has the ball right now against James Madison, who is ranked number 25. That game has 1:55 left in the first quarter. You can watch it on ESPN, and James Madison is up 3-0 right now over Troy. We also have, in just 14 minutes here at 7 p.m. on ABC, number 24 North Texas facing off against number 20 Tulane in the American Championship. Now, UNT is a 1.5-point favorite.
Battle of coaches that have left their schools.
That's right, yeah. I assume they're still coaching this game.
I think both schools said that they would allow them to coach through. I think Tulane through the playoffs if they make it into it, and I think North Texas was at least through this.
Okay, well, good. At least they're both getting to the conference championship.
They left on good terms.
Yeah, no bridges burned, it sounds like there. But both those schools know also that they are stepping stones.
Yeah.
So tomorrow at 11 a.m., we've got number 11 BYU at number 4 Texas Tech. That's at the Big 12 championship game. Texas Tech is a 12.5-point favorite, 2-touchdown favorite in the conference championship game. That would make me mad. BYU.
That would be fighting words right there.
Oh, yeah.
When I saw that on paper, that was actually the one I thought was going to be the best conference game.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping BYU gets in because I really like their coach.
Yeah.
And I literally thought he was going to take Penn State.
Yeah.
I really did.
A lot of guys thought we were going to take Penn State that didn't.
Oh, I'm telling you. Penn State did too. I think they finally nailed it with their 25th pick.
Yeah. And you actually had a coaching update for us.
Yes. I actually got a breaking news on my phone that said that Penn State and Matt Campbell have finalized an 8-year contract.
Yeah, we're still waiting on that financial number, but Penn State has their guy now. That is official, at least according to that ESPN update. Number 2, Indiana, and number 1, Ohio State. Battle of the unbeatens in the Big Ten Championship. OSU is a 4-point favorite, but boy, I hope Indiana wins.
I hope Indiana wins, but I have not seen anybody that's been able to do anything with Ohio State's defense.
Ohio State is so far ahead of everybody else, at least it seems, that it's upsetting.
Yeah. I really think that this is going to be a blowout because I think Ohio State's going to wear Indiana out.
Yeah. We'll see. I hope Indiana hangs in there and wins it, but not counting on it. And then we also got Duke and number 17 Virginia in the ACC Championship. No Clemson, no Miami. So odd.
And this is the most odd pairing for a conference championship because Duke really didn't have that good of a year.
No, they are 7-5.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, how in the world are you in a conference championship game at 7-5?
And Virginia is only a 4-point favorite over them as well, which is interesting because Virginia's. They've been a good team. 2 losses, ranked 17. I'll be honest, I haven't watched a ton of Virginia football. I think I've seen one game that they were in. They were a solid team from what I saw.
Yeah,
a lot of research.
Yeah, and I kind of looked at the thing too, and I was really kind of impressed because there's been a lot of people have been asking for Virginia to fire their coach, and they have stayed patient with him, and he has built this program back up.
And it's paid off, so hopefully they get the win. Surely they will tomorrow. But, hey, you never know what happens. And then, of course, at 3 p.m., we've got number 3 Georgia, number 9 Alabama. We've talked extensively about that one already. And we're going to talk a little bit more about it, but in a different context because we want to look at all the playoff rankings as they currently stand. This is not the final rankings, of course. And then maybe what we could see happen depending on what goes down. Now, Patrick, we both already said that we don't think Alabama is getting left out unless it is a beatdown. And the reason for that is that this game is supposed to be a reward. You get to the SEC championship, that is supposed to be a reward, not something that could hurt you. Okay, so if you were to go to the playoffs and not have the SEC championship, Alabama would be in. So if you do have the SEC championship, Alabama loses, let's say, they're left out. Immediately, the SEC is going to have to decide, well, should we just get rid of the SEC championship? It's supposed to be a reward, not a way that's going to keep some of our teams out of competing. So I think, and you know, it sucks that with these rankings there have to be some politics played, but this is a very political thing. I don't think that they will leave Alabama out unless it is just an absolute drumming, which I don't see that happening.
Yeah, it's like what we said earlier. I think it's going to be a close game because it's hard to beat a team twice, and both of them are good teams that are deserving of being in there. But it's just like what we talked about off air. You know, if you expand it because somebody's being left out that you think deserves it, then why even have a conference championships anywhere?
Right.
You know, I mean, because that's the thing. Because a lot of people then would say, well, Bama had to play an extra game and they lost, but that opened the door for a Vandy to get in there.
Yes.
That didn't have a conference championship, and I think they were maybe 3rd or 4th in the final standings. But then you also got somebody like Texas A&M that's going to be hosting the first round and not even in it.
Right.
Ole Miss, depending on how they look at Lane Kiffin being gone, is another aspect. So
you would have to completely rewrite everything, which they're probably going to have to do anyway because there's been so many issues, particularly this year with a 12-team format. But you'd probably just have to make conference championships part of the playoff or get rid of them. That'd kind of be your only two options you'd have left. And if you're going to make them part of the playoffs, then you kind of got to force Notre Dame to be in one.
Yeah.
Or force them to play somehow. And you'd have to make them join.
Yeah, you would have to make them join because it's like when everybody kept saying, well, what's going to happen to the bowl games when the playoffs started? Somebody was going to end up losing the sponsorship and losing some finances off of it. Well, then they started to end up having them be host places with it. You know, you could have the conference championships be like maybe a wild card, you know, into it. You know, maybe it could be that launching pad where you can basically say, okay, let's see, Georgia was probably the top one in the conference this year. Okay, you get a bye. And you have that title of being, you know, the regular season SEC champ, kind of like what they do in basketball.
Right.
And then for this postseason aspect, you get a first-round bye in the playoffs, and you don't have to play in that conference championship, and then you can basically bump down and have two others or something play in it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe try it in that aspect that might be on that outside looking in. I mean, there would be so many different logistics that could go into it, but nobody's ever going to be happy.
No, no, you're never going to please everybody.
No.
And if you have, then we've, you know.
I want to talk to you and see how it works.
Yeah. Ohio State, Indiana doesn't matter. Both getting in.
Oh, yeah, they're
game
both
does not
getting
matter to them. I'm honestly kind of surprised there hasn't been any sort of talk about like, well, why aren't they just sitting their starters and resting them for the playoff? I honestly am surprised we haven't heard that.
To be honest, I would probably consider it.
Yeah.
Because I won't want somebody to get hurt.
Yeah, right. All right, let's take a look at the playoff predictor. Now, ESPN has on their website where you can go on, you can choose a team, and you can see what the likely odds of them getting in are. Immediately right now, based on what we have, Georgia has a 99% chance to get in. They think no matter what, they're probably in.
Oh, yeah.
Indiana, Ohio State, the same way. Now, these were ones that surprised me that they still have listed as 99. Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Oregon.
How is Oklahoma?
I don't know. I don't understand. But they have a 99% chance to make the playoff, a 60% chance to host the first round, 40% to be a first round visitor.
I mean,
Ole Miss they have as a 99%, which that one makes more sense to me.
oh, yeah. I mean, I kind of get that. But didn't Oklahoma lose 2 games?
Yes. And they're currently ranked. Let me go back to my list. Oklahoma is currently ranked 8. So, like, they're not so far. Because remember, they're only really taking, like, the top 10.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I guess they're just assuming nothing crazy happens. So they assume that Oklahoma is getting in, Oregon is getting in. They have a 99. Texas A&M have a 99% chance.
I can get that one, too.
And Texas Tech have a 99% chance. After that, Alabama has 97, so they feel pretty good about it, slightly less than the others. And then you get down to Notre Dame, next highest, 58% chance. Which, that's pretty high, honestly, for where, because they're currently at 10.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're already making a case for maybe bumping them out, but it's Notre Dame. They'll probably be in. And then Virginia, 55. They have the same odds as, just slightly worse odds than Notre Dame. And JMU, James Madison, 51%. Now, they're also somebody, depending on if their coach is allowed to coach. But if you got to take a group of 5 teams, who else are you taking, really?
Yeah, I mean,
It's them in North Texas and Tulane. And it's really them in North Texas.
yeah, because no matter who you take from there, they're not going to be coaching there next year.
Yeah. Now, this is, Miami's been making a case that they should get in. What do you think their odds are to get in? And they are currently ranked 12, so they are in that 12th spot.
They're in the 12th spot. I will say 45%.
11.
Oh, my.
11% chance to get in. 0% chance, of course, of a first bye. 1% chance to host the first round somehow. And 11% chance to be a first round visitor. Yeah, that's the odds there.
What's the odds on Vandy?
They're not even listed.
I have
So
faith.
I assume they're less than 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vandy is at 14. They would have to. Yeah, there's just not enough possible chaos. There's not enough things that could go wrong. Looking at this list, they messed up by like guaranteeing the 2 extra spots.
Yeah.
That's where it all went wrong. So, I mean, we'll know. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of change on this list in any direction, besides maybe 9 and 10.
I'm still bumfuzzled about Oklahoma. I mean, I just don't get that.
They're at number 8. They're still above Alabama,
Now, I will say this.
which makes sense. They have the head-to-head over Alabama.
Notre Dame is the tale of 2 different teams. I mean, I was sitting there going like, man, Freeman's fixing to get canned.
Yeah.
And then they came and made a comeback and just showed how good of a coach he is. And if they get in based off of how they've played this year, I would stay out of a conference. I mean,
Yeah.
because you're basically proving people wrong.
Last question for you before we have to move on to our final segment because we're running low on time here. What happens if Alabama does win? And let's say they win by a touchdown plus. Let's say they win by 10 points. Okay? That means they've beat Georgia twice, and Georgia has 2 losses. Alabama's an SEC championship. Georgia's all the way at number 3. How far do they fall? How far up does Alabama jump from number 9? You'd assume they jump Oklahoma at 8.
Yeah.
But then do you put Georgia below Oklahoma?
Well, I would almost say.
Do you put Alabama above Georgia? They beat them twice. How do you not?
I mean, you'd have to.
Yeah.
You'd have to. I would almost say that.
Well, they just switch places.
Well, see, that's what I was going to say. The crazy thing would be that they would just swap
They
places.
probably would.
But did Georgia play Oklahoma this year?
No,
They didn't? Okay, so
I
then.
don't think so.
Because I was about to say, if they didn't play them, I could see them maybe falling to 7 or 8. But if they did, they would have to go to 9.
Let me double check that, but I don't believe they played. No, they did not. Yeah.
So I could say maybe 7.
Yeah.
But it would be crazy if they literally just swapped numbers.
Yeah. I mean, that'd kind of be the easiest way to change things.
Yeah.
Not that they're doing this based off simplicity, we hope. But
Oh, I mean, but who knows? I mean, this rider that's got Oklahoma being number 8 and good chances making it.
yeah.
I mean, never know, they might be number 2.
Now, Patrick, before we get to our last segment, we'll have to keep this pithy. I'm sorry, but Jasper High Wrestling does have a big week. First of all, they are competing right now
yeah.
and tomorrow. And then we've got matches the 8th, the 9th, the 11th, the 13th. It is a full week of Jasper High Wrestling. Yeah. I know we've got a little bit of some little stomach bugs going around too. What you looking forward to this week, and what's the path looking like?
Man, yeah, it's a busy week. I feel like I'm going to be living out of my car or truck and stuff. We might have to do a live feed from my truck on one of these episodes. It's going to be a pretty busy week. But Monday, our youth program is going to be starting off, and they're going to be wrestling with our varsity up at Curry. Okay. And it's going to be Curry and Doran. They both got youth teams, so it's going to be a spotlight on the youth. Yeah. And they're going to be they're on the center mat, and then the varsities are going to wrestle off the side mats.
That's
and stuff.
Cool.
So it's going to be
awesome.
real cool to be able to see Curry's bringing wrestling back, and so it's going to be a good gate and stuff for them. I encourage everybody to come out at 6 o'clock at Curry High School on that Monday, and then Tuesday we're going to be hosting our first home meet.
Okay.
And we're going to have Corner, we're going to have Fultondale, and we're going to have Carver there. And we're also going to have our youth kids are going to be wrestling Corner's youth program. So we're going to have mats all across the gym at Jasper High School to be able to come and watch that. Thursday we travel to Hartselle to wrestle them. And then Saturday we hit the road going to Mississippi to wrestle in a tournament over in Mississippi. So
y'all have got a busy week.
It's a busy week. And then we're going to try to practice in there on a Wednesday and Friday. So it's going to be a busy week. We had a good week this week. We both JV and varsity went undefeated. We beat Oak Grove. We beat Dora. We beat Northridge on Tuesday. And right now our varsity is wrestling at the Ed Franks Invitational in Gardendale. It was the kickoff tonight, doing first 2 rounds, and then they'll come back and they'll finish up the tournament on Saturday. And this is like the who's who. I mean, you got Gulf Shores High School there, you got Pell City there. Of course, Gardendale's hosting it. You got teams from Arkansas, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia. So, I mean, and last that I checked, a lot of our guys has already made it to the second round, and we're sitting 3rd in the team standings.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, good
And
deal.
also,
already.
We'll see what happens after that.
Well, good luck to all our kids this week, and to everybody participating. And y'all be careful traveling as well. We got to get to our last segment, though, as we are closing out. Weird news of the week. Now, I've got a few stories. Some of these I'm going to have to go off since we're short on time, just go off of the headline, and we can imagine it for ourselves. This first one is for a world record. A man ran a half marathon while wearing 137 shirts.
I don't even see how he's able to move and stuff in that aspect with his arms.
I want to see if I can at least see how heavy this was. 48 pounds of shirts.
No.
Let's see. He the last time was 127, so he beat it by 10 shirts. Absolutely insane. And if you look at the picture, I mean, he looks like a turtle. He looks like he can't breathe. Such an odd record to set and continue to set, but I don't know anybody else is going for it but him. It seems like he's the one that keeps resetting this record.
I mean, that's what I was kind of gonna say. I mean, that we need to maybe post a link on our
should
thing to show people this.
How about this one, Patrick? And a little clever headline here: hard of hearing, Viagra could reverse some deafness, according to at least one study. So if you ever start to go deaf,
Just go and buy.
go to the gas station.
Yeah.
Maybe that can help you out.
Yeah.
Get that hearing
I mean, that it makes you wonder what people. I mean, just like, well, I'm gonna try and see if this can help. I mean, and then because if you look at those billionaires, they're like, well, I was just bored and just wanted to try something, and now look, I don't have to work another day in my life.
That's true. That's true. The Oxford Dictionary has published their word of the year. Now, last year, the word was brain rot.
Brain rot.
Yeah, are you familiar with the term, brain rot?
I'm not.
It's something I hear a lot with ninth graders, but it's basically like mindless content. So, like, just dumb, mindless stuff on the internet is considered brain rot. That was the word last year. This year, it is rage bait.
Rage
Are
bait.
you familiar with that one?
I have heard a couple times, but I've never looked it up.
So, rage bait, let me find what their definition is. The publisher says, online content deliberately designed to elicit anger or outrage by being frustrating, provocative, or offensive, typically posted in order to increase traffic to engagement with a particular web page or social media account. So it is purposefully inflammatory content, rage bait. But I've heard it used in ninth grade just in, like, out of the internet, just being like, yeah, you're rage baiting me right now. It kind of been like, you're trying to make me mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe the word would be clickbait.
Clickbait, yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah,
that's the way I would kind of see it.
Do you see yourself using either of those words in your real life vocabulary, rage bait or brain rot?
I'm too much of a country boy for that. That's why I was asking the English teacher for a definition and stuff. So,
And our last story, I'm sure most of our listeners have seen this. It has been everywhere. A raccoon went on a drunken rampage in Virginia liquor store, passed out on the bathroom floor. It broke hundreds of bottles, it seemed, dozens on the way in there, just shattered them all over the floor. Looks like the place had been completely trashed. A raccoon was the culprit.
and see, I heard the story, and I was like, I have got to see pictures or find a YouTube video of it. And I found a picture somewhere, but I can't tell if it's Photoshop. I mean, you know how AI kind of goes these days. But there was one. It was like, yes, it was that
This one is
picture.
real.
Yes,
This one is real.
okay. That one is
If,
real. Okay.
Okay, there you go. You can see it. The raccoon, if you're watching the live stream, you can see it. The raccoon is passed out in the bathroom. And let me see if they have a picture of the actual. They don't. But if you look at the store is just trash.
Yeah. See, I was trying to see if maybe there might have been like a security camera footage to be able to see this raccoon go nuts.
I haven't seen security camera footage, but let me see if I can find the. Here we go. Okay. So this is, I'll show you first, Patrick. That's
Yes.
what was left over. You can kind of see it in our live stream there. It's just a bunch of bottles on the shelves and knocked over, destroyed. And it looks like this is after some cleaning because I see the brooms out and whatnot.
Because that almost reminded me, there was like about 10 years ago, there was a story about, it was out in Australia. A dog was getting attacked by a kangaroo, and the owner came to the rescue and ends up boxing
Yes.
the kangaroo.
Punched it in the jaw. And
Yes.
there is video of that one.
Yes.
Yeah, and the kangaroo looks like it doesn't know how to respond, obviously.
Yes, exactly. That, I mean, because I was sitting there, I was like, please let this be as funny as that right there.
That one, that's an all-time video.
Oh, man, it is all time.
If that came out now, I'd be like, oh, that's AI.
Yeah.
I wouldn't believe it. But it's a real video. All right, well, that wraps up the show for this week. We will, of course, be back next week at the same time. We can't wait to look at the SEC Championship. I guess that then we'll know our Heisman odds, too, and be talking about the Heisman as well. Have a better look at the NFL playoff picture, slightly better at that point, too. So a lot to talk about, and, of course, we'll know who is in to the playoffs at that point as well. So please be sure to tune back in next week. Maddie will be back with her 5 top kids' Christmas movies, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see which one she picks and which one we all pick. See where we have the same, or we have different ones. Thank you to North Country Ford of Jasper for sponsoring the show. If you'd like to become a sponsor, you can do so by just messaging the Facebook page, The Game Managers, or WJLX 1015. You can also email us at WJLXremote@gmail.com or at GameManagersPod@gmail.com if you are interested, or just message us on the Facebook pages. Patrick, you are, of course, pastor of Ezra Baptist Church. What we got going on Sunday?
Man, we're in the middle of Advent season right now, so we're going through the Advent candles. We're going to be talking about peace, and I'm going to kind of give a little history lesson on how the Christmas Carol song Silent Night got started and how it ties into the Christmas story.
Oh, that's really cool. Nice. Okay.
So I'm excited about that, and with our sponsor as well, North Country Ford. That's actually where I bought my Ford Maverick.
That's right.
And all, and so they took very good care of me down there. Great sales department. Jason Johnson was the guy that I worked with, and Brandon Esch in the finance area. They were great, took care of me, made it very easy and quick to be able to do, and they treat you like family over there. So I highly recommend, if you're looking for a vehicle, to go visit our friends at North Country Ford. When I went to approach them about being a sponsor, it was actually the day before Thanksgiving, and they just invited me in for their Thanksgiving meal, had me in, invited a lot of the community in. Really nice group of guys out there, and I say guys, men and women, just really nice, friendly, normal people. You can get a lot of anxiety when you go to a car lot. Sometimes they want to come, you feel like people are harassing you. That was not the vibe at all.
No.
They didn't know they thought I was a potential buyer, and they were very just friendly and not in your face at all. Just really, if you're going to go somewhere, you should check them out. And I would say that even if they weren't a sponsor. I was really impressed with the way they were running things there. Next episode, like we said, SEC Championship Review, playoff picture in full swing, and Heisman odds. We'll talk about all of that. Thank you, everyone, for tuning back in with us. Got started a few minutes late, but now we've got all our tech figured out, so we will be back next week. Please be sure to turn back in, and that is all from here. Have a great weekend. Happy football season. We will see you next week.
Blue 42! Blue 42! Hut! Hut! Hike!
Thank you for listening to the
Aguero!